I'm Mark Oya.
I'm Steve Stanford, and this is Art You Can Drive.
A lot of people ask us a lot of questions about our backgrounds and how we met. So in this special edition of Art You Can Drive, we're going to dive into it. My name is Mark Oya. I'm a custom car builder. I've been in cars my whole life, and it's crazy because I'm one of those stories where, I started painting cars when I was very young. My dad painted his own cars and taught me how, so I was 13 years old when I actually completely painted the first car by myself, and moved to Southern California to build hot rods, and worked on American Hot Rod with Boyd, and unfortunately he passed away, and we opened California Speed and Custom. So 10 years later, we're building cool stuff.
My name's Steve Stanford, and I'm an automotive illustrator, designer, and artist. Ever since I was a kid, I was always interested in cars, and considering where I grew up, we'll just say the slums of St. Louis isn't exactly the Oakland Roadster show or the Grand National or anything, It was just a humble beginning. But yet there was always that interest in cars, even through various phases and changes and, stint in the military, but the artwork was always there. Plus I like to read. So I always like to tell people when I was a kid that my library card was my best friend, because I could take a book home, or I could take a magazine home and look at all the cars to my heart's content and get inspired.
Cars basically mean different things to different people, but at the end of the day, it's all an emotional attachment. Something has happened either in that car or during that time period that they owned that car, or they had kids and brought them home from the hospital in that car, their first car, maybe their first cool car, maybe their first car wasn't cool, so the next car they get is cool. And those memories for people never seem to go away. Everybody always talks about a certain aspect of a car, and it's whatever point it was in their life that it was important to them. And that's what makes our business so great, because we're not just building a piece of tin to roll down the road. We're recreating memories for people that they want to relive their past, and it's usually something that they couldn't have, and now they can have it. And so, they're really excited. So, we just had a customer last week, and he actually said to me, "You're building my dream car." And there's no greater feeling for us than that, because it's not just a car. Cars are emotional, and they're a history. So that's why we love building them.
I think people love cars the way they do because they represent freedom. Kind of like the way people romanticize about the cowboy in the Old West, with his horse, and he's got his bedroll, and he's out there on the plains or the prairie, and it's that whole wide open space, this feeling of freedom. Well, the automobile represents a lot of that: self-reliance, self-sufficiency, individualism, the freedom to come and go as you like, and that's what the automobile really is best at. I mean, Horace Greeley said, "Go west, young man," for a reason, because a lot of people romanticize the image of reinventing themselves. And transportation and freedom of movement is a very large part of that. And that's what makes designing the car aspect just so much fun, because keeping all that freedom in mind and the possibilities, it's really a thrill. It never gets old.
I've known Steve Stanford personally now for 10 years.
Meeting Mark, that's kind of fuzzy. I know it was, God, I can't even think of how, it's been a number of years.
I saw Steve's renderings in all the different car magazines, when I was still in Canada. I knew of him prior to moving to California, and when I got here, he was somebody that I wanted to meet, and I wanted to find out what he was all about. And so I went over to the California Street Rods building where he worked, and he was there pinstriping a car. Your lettering, John Buck's Roadster.
Oh yeah, okay. That was an overnight deal.
Yeah, and you were under the gun, and we talked, and it just never stopped from there. I just hung out with him, and we just hit it off. And he's a great person, you know. So it's a lot of fun to hang out with him. So we've had 10 years now of a lot of fun. Here's the thing: there's artists, to me, and there's designers, and there's the rare combination of an artist that's a designer, and that's how I look at Steve.
I want to draw something really special that not just the car owner, but everybody involved with the build is going to get excited and pumped, and they can't wait. Oh man, let's do this. That's the biggest thrill of doing this. Looking how they light up like a kid at Christmas when they see this illustration for the first time. And also keeping in mind too, that's their baby that they're seeing on paper for the first time. It's a living embodiment and a romanticized vision of what they already think in their head, and now there it is in front of them, and it's like, yes, that's exactly what I wanted, but it's even better, it's even more so. That's the reaction you'll want.
He's just so honestly passionate. It's what he loves. And it's a true feeling right from the heart. Like, he wants to draw a car, he loves cars, and it's just what the idea is and how cool can I make it.
What makes Mark unique and what makes his work unique also is just his attention to detail, attention to quality.
Our whole thing here is just to build cool stuff. If it's fast, loud, and cool, we're gonna build it.
He is open to new ideas, yet he respects tradition, and he's been around the block a few times and he knows the drill. He knows what works and what doesn't. But there's just that extra something that only a few builders in this industry can grab onto and know how to exploit. So Mark's that guy. That's why I love working with him. I really respect what he does and his outlook on cars.
You have the ability to express yourself.
Sure.
And you know, when you're building custom cars, you're actually creating something. Mm-hmm. So you're taking something that's not necessarily cool or nice, and you're making it cool and nice. So you actually have a tangible result. And there's not very many professions where you can take that result and drive it down the street.
I was gonna say it's like a sculptor, but you're creating art, but yet it's art you can drive.
You can drive it. And I think for me, it was just when I first started painting, and it was the transition from something not looking good to looking really good.
Oh yeah.
And it was like, wow, this is really cool. I can make something that looks really cool that people want. And so we have to keep striving. I to this day, strive to do every one better. You know, like I look back and I want to redo everything we've ever done.
I know,
you know,
yeah.
Because I want it to be better. But
sure.
I think that's been the burning desire, is just to create something really cool. One of the best parts of building a car is actually in the end when it's finished. And you know, we have a great sense of accomplishment because we actually finished a car and it's a running, driving piece of art that somebody can drive. But it's not that part of it as much as it is when you give it back to the customer. Because for the customer, the first time they hear that car run, the first time they see that car move under its own power, or maybe the first time they see that car sitting outside, they click in that it's their car. And that's the ultimate feeling for us, is where they realize it's their car and they're reliving their past, or it's something they've always wanted. And so I feel fortunate that we get to build those kind of cars for people and provide them with that spot in their life where it makes them happy. It makes us happy to build it. It makes them happy. So it's just a positive experience for everybody. And with that, I just feel that we're super fortunate.
If I wasn't in the car industry, and if I wasn't illustrating and expressing myself in cars through my artwork, I'd be lost. I mean, because this has been such a fulfilling gig for me, and not more than that, it's a lifestyle. I mean, it's a lifestyle I thoroughly enjoy. It's brought me a lot of respect and recognition that I wouldn't have got more than likely in any other occupation. And for that, I'm grateful. This whole automotive art thing has been so fulfilling. I just can't picture myself doing anything else.
And that's a wrap.